Hey everybody, it's Brian here. I'm gonna do another SPSS demonstration here. And today we're going to use SPSS to demonstrate that property of the mean that we talked about, that the sum of all of these sign deviations about the mean is 0. And so we're gonna demonstrate that here in SPSS. We're gonna use this distance variable from our movies data set. And so what we need to do is we need to use SPSS to calculate all the deviations about the mean. We have 100 different people who have responded to this question. So the first thing we need to do is figure out what the mean distance is. And we can do that. It doesn't really matter what we have highlighted. I have distance highlighted, but we're going to choose what we're interested in through the menus here. And in order to get the mean out, there are several different ways. But you can go to Analyze Descriptive Statistics and choose descriptives. And then we're going to find, here's a list of all the variables. This last one is our distance variable. And we can just go ahead and make sure that the mean is selected here under options. That is one of the default choices. So that's good. And so here we go. We run a descriptives report and we find the mean is 23.60. So I'd like to point out that whenever you do any sort of analysis, including something like just getting the mean in SPSS, it opens up this output window as a separate window. It's a little bit of a weird convention because usually you're not used to seeing software open up a second window without you're choosing to do that. A lot of people new to SPSS will close this window every time, and then they're going to lose any of those reports that happen. So my suggestion is rather than use the X to close this output window, you can just minimize it. And then if you run another analysis, it'll open up again and it'll add to that report instead of just creating a whole bunch of reports that get deleted. But it's this 23.6 that we need to remember because we're going to subtract that value from every single item in the data set. So let's show how to do that. We minimize that, we go back to our data here. We're gonna create a distance minus the mean variable by saying transform and compute variable. And I'm gonna say x minus mean, and I'm gonna pull in this distance, and then here I can put in a numeric expression, and I'm gonna put in, let's see, it was 23.6. So distance minus 23.6. And what that's going to do is for each row in the data file, it's going to take whatever they had as their distance value, and it's going to subtract 23.6. And it's going to add that all to a new variable that is called x minus the mean. So again, it opens up our output to show us, hey, I just did something. And we can just minimize that because it's not actually showing us any results. But now we see this new variable created here. And we can see that values that were higher than our mean result in positive differences. Values that were lower than our mean result in negative differences. So it seems like we're doing the right thing. So according to the property of the mean here, when we add up this new variable that we've created, we should get a sum of 0. That's one of the reasons that the mean is so commonly used, is because it is the closest value to all the items in the data set. To get a sum out, we can go to Analyze, Descriptives, and go back to the Descriptives report. Make sure we have the sum checked here. And we're not interested in this variable anymore. Now we're interested in this x minus the mean variable. And we're looking for a sum of 0. And in fact, I have that, and here the x minus the mean variable of my 100 cases, the sum is 0. So this demonstrates that property of the mean. So short and sweet, thank you very much for your attention, and we'll do more SPSS in future videos.